whole ocean.
Really? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
The Cornelia Marie was the heart of Deadliest Catch for over a decade. Captain Phil Harris made it famous. His sons Josh and Jake promised to carry on his legacy. But in August 2022, everything changed forever. A buried court document surfaced online, and it revealed a dark secret Josh had hidden for 24 years. The crime was so shocking that Discovery immediately erased every trace of the boat from their network. Streaming platforms removed all of the episodes almost overnight. What Josh did as a teenager destroyed everything his father had built. The Cornelia Marie was built in 1989 at Horton Boats in Bayou La Batre, Alabama. That small shipbuilding town had been turning out boats for generations, and this one felt like the end of an era. The Cornelia Marie was among the last big vessels built by Elmo Horton. It measured 128 feet long and 28 feet wide, with a draft of 11.7 feet. Made of heavy steel, it was ready for the brutal Bering Sea. Twin 750 horsepower Cummins QSK-19mm diesel engines powered it to 14.5 knots, giving it a big edge when racing to the crab grounds. The fuel tanks held 2,500 gallons, and there were 3,000 gallons of fresh water, enough for long trips without turning back. The boat cost $2.5 million to build, a fortune at the time, but it quickly proved its worth as one of the toughest boats out there. The name Cornelia Marie came from the wife of the man who commissioned it, Ralph Collins. Ralph named the boat after his wife, Cornelia Marie Collins, to honor her role in his life and in the fishing business. She wasn't just his wife, she worked right alongside him. That name set the boat apart in a world where ships were usually named for myths or ideas. Even after the couple divorced, Cornelia became co-owner of the boat, and her name stayed on the hull. The aquamarine and white paint with yellow banners made the Cornelia Marie easy to spot from Kodiak to Dutch Harbor. From the start, the Cornelia Marie faced the Bering Sea's worst. It fished for king crab, opilio crab, salmon, and herring. It could stay out longer thanks to its huge fuel and water supply, giving it an edge during those short, fierce crab seasons. The early crew was a mix of veterans and greenhorns, all battling icy waves, brutal winds, and constant danger. The Cornelia Marie even helped search for survivors when the Big Valley went down in 2005. Only one man lived. Through these trials, the boat earned a reputation as reliable and tough, long before it became famous on TV. In the 1990s and early 2000s, the Cornelia Marie was already a star among fishermen. A major refit added 22 feet to its length, increasing its crab capacity by 100,000 pounds. That allowed it to haul in over 300,000 pounds on a single trip. While other boats went under in hard times, the Cornelia Marie stayed strong. It was known for its efficiency and the skill of its crew. The boat's success came from hard work, smart choices, and constant upgrades, traits that later made it perfect for reality TV. Phil Harris's story became part of the Cornelia Marie's legend. He joined in the early 1990s, became co-owner, and took over as captain in 1998. Harris was tough, demanding, and deeply loyal. He treated his crew like family and stood by them through thick and thin. His bond with the boat lasted more than 20 years. Harris's journey began when he left high school at 17. Raised in Bothell, Washington, he had fished with his father since he was 8. A friend's success lured him to crab fishing. That friend made over $100,000 in one season and bought a brand new car. Harris, driving a worn-out Chevelle, wanted the same. He quit school and headed north. His first season was rough. He made no money and even quit once, but came back after the captain mocked him. At 19, Harris finally struck gold, earning $130,000 in 1 year. By 21, Harris owned his first boat, the Golden Viking. He had been handed the captain's chair by his own skipper on his birthday. That came with huge challenges: debt, repairs, and earning respect as a young captain. At one point, he faced $50,000 in urgent repairs, but Harris kept going, and by his mid-20s, he had built a name as one of the best on the Bering Sea. Harris was a hard man, known for chain-smoking and barking orders, but he cared deeply for his crew. He shared profits fairly and never asked anyone to do work he wouldn't do himself. Many crew members returned year after year. His personal life was rocky, 2 divorces and struggles with substance abuse, but he never stopped putting his crew first. His stress wasn't from the danger, he said. It was from empty crab pots, because that meant his men might go home empty-handed. Under Harris's command, the Cornelia Marie saw big changes. In one major overhaul, it was cut into 4 pieces and extended by 22 feet, boosting crab capacity by 100,000 pounds. His sons, Josh and Jake, worked with him, turning the boat into a family legacy. In 2005, something big happened for the Cornelia Marie. It became one of just 4 boats to be featured permanently on Deadliest Catch in Season 2. But this wasn't just good luck. The producers had to make tough choices. There were over 250 boats, and they wanted only the best. By the end of the year, they had narrowed it down to about 89. The Cornelia Marie stood out because of its strong catches and because of Captain Phil Harris. Phil wasn't sure at first. He worried that cameras would disturb life on board or reveal too much. The talks were hard. The Discovery Channel wanted boats that were both reliable and full of personality. Phil wanted to protect his crew's privacy and keep filming away during dangerous work. The timing was right, too. That year, the fishing world shifted from the old Derby system to the new individual fishing quota system. Only the top boats made it into this smaller elite group. The Cornelia Marie earned its spot. Bringing Phil's sons, Josh and Jake, onto the Cornelia Marie was a bold move. This wasn't just a family decision. It added a whole new layer to the show. Phil didn't go easy on them. He made sure they worked as hard as anyone else. What viewers saw was real: the tension, the fights, the moments when being a dad clashed with being a captain. There was one moment that viewers never forgot. Phil looked at Jake and said, "You need to go to treatment, man. At least you'll have a fighting chance." The show followed the brothers as they learned the harsh world of crab fishing, and it showed their struggles when Phil's health began to fail. When Phil died in 2010, millions of fans felt the loss. Josh tried to lead. Jake fought his demons. The Harris family's ups and downs kept people watching. It wasn't just a show. It felt like watching real life. Phil's personality was a huge reason why fans loved him. He said what was on his mind. He was funny in a raw, honest way. Who could forget lines like, "I feel like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest"? Or, "Now you know why lions eat their young"? His humor helped him get through the hard times, and it made people connect with him. When Phil had a stroke and later passed away, over 5.4 million people tuned in. Many said they cried with the Harris family. Phil wasn't just a captain, he became the heart of Deadliest Catch. Fans still share his quotes online. They still buy shirts and hats with his sayings. His spirit lives on. And then there was the boat itself. The Cornelia Marie didn't look like the others. With its bright yellow and blue colors, it was easy to spot. The look wasn't just for show, it turned the boat into a brand. People bought hats, shirts, and model ships. They posted photos when they saw the boat in port. Even when the Cornelia Marie changed owners or took breaks from the show, its image stayed strong. That bold paint job made it a symbol of grit and tradition. The Cornelia Marie also became famous for its crab hauls. From the start, it was known for bringing in big catches. Phil pushed the boat and crew hard. During the tough 2005 season, the Cornelia Marie was among the top boats. Phil took risks to stay ahead of storms and rivals. The boat itself helped too. It was 128 feet long and could carry almost 300 tons of crab. That meant longer trips and bigger hauls. The boat's record catches weren't just great for TV. They showed the skill and hard work of the crew. Phil Harris was larger than life, and so was his struggle with addiction. He wasn't just the tough, no-nonsense captain of the Cornelia Marie. He was the man viewers saw with a cigarette always between his fingers, sometimes lighting one from the end of another. The cameras showed it all. His chain smoking, his pots of coffee, his cases of Red Bull. This dangerous mix tore apart his health. Even after a pulmonary aneurysm at sea in 2008, Phil wouldn't quit. Doctors begged him, his crew begged him, his sons begged him, but Phil kept smoking. The man who survived deadly storms couldn't outrun his addiction. In 2010, it caught up with him. At just 53, Phil suffered a massive stroke. His death felt like the sad ending to a battle he never truly fought. His sons, Josh and Jake, carried the same heavy burden. Addiction ran through the Harris family like a curse. Phil had given Josh cigarettes and alcohol as early as 10 years old. The damage started young. Jake's spiral was especially painful to watch. Heroin, arrests, DUIs. It led to an 18-month prison sentence in 2024 after a high-speed police chase. Josh tried to stay strong but had his own battles. There were thefts, there were relapses. The family broke apart and tried to mend itself again and again. Behind the fame of crab fishing, their real danger was waiting at home. Owning the Cornelia Marie didn't make things easier. The boat was built in 1989. Keeping it running cost a fortune. In 2015, just replacing the engines with two 758-horsepower Cummins diesels meant finding new partners to help pay the bills. Crew wages, fuel, insurance, repairs, it was endless. Josh called it a black hole for money. The pandemic made it worse. Crew wages shot up to 10 times the usual rate. Every season felt like a gamble. One bad catch could mean disaster. The only way to survive was to take bigger risks, like hunting golden king crab in deeper, deadlier waters. As if that stress wasn't enough, the cameras added a whole new layer. The show's needs didn't always match the crew's safety. Filming during storms, delaying trips, pushing for drama. This was what made good TV, but it made crab fishing even more dangerous. Sometimes Discovery Channel even pulled the boat from the show. Not because of fishing, but because of legal or image issues. The crew had to balance survival at sea with the demands of millions watching from their couches. On January 29, 2010, everything changed forever. The Cornelia Marie was docked at St. Paul Island, Alaska. They were offloading crab. Phil collapsed without warning, a massive stroke. His crew jumped into action. They radioed for help. EMTs rushed in. Every second counted. St. Paul Island was so remote, the nearest major hospital was hundreds of miles away. They got him stabilized, arranged a medevac, and flew him to Anchorage. His sons, his crew, they were left behind, stunned, as Phil was flown away, fighting for his life. The cameras captured all of it. Every moment, every tear, every frantic radio call. It raised tough questions. Should such pain be shown to the world? Phil couldn't say yes or no. Discovery worked with the family. The Harris boys gave consent. They wanted people to see the truth, to honor their dad. But it was a choice that still makes people uneasy today. At first, it looked like Phil might beat the odds. He squeezed hands, he spoke, he joked. The doctors couldn't believe it. Most stroke patients take months to do what Phil did in days. The world started to hope, but hope can be cruel. A sudden brain bleed changed everything. Phil's condition collapsed. His sons and friends stayed at his side. There was nothing left to do but say goodbye. On February 9, 2010, at 53 years old, Phil Harris was gone. His ashes were divided, half placed in a Harley-Davidson gas tank with his mother's remains, the rest scattered at sea. The sea had always been his home. When the Deadliest Catch episode Redemption Day aired on July 20, 2010, 5.4 million people watched. It became one of the most watched episodes ever. Viewers saw not just a captain's final days, but a family's heartbreak, a crew's loss, and the brutal cost of a hard life at sea. After Captain Phil Harris died in February 2010, his sons Josh and Jake faced a heartbreaking and nearly impossible task. They wanted to keep the Cornelia Marie in the family, but they didn't have full ownership of the boat, and buying out the other stakeholders cost more money than they could imagine. The Cornelia Marie, built in 1989, also needed serious repairs, which made things even harder. The brothers tried again and again to get loans, but no one believed in them. Banks and investors saw them as too young, too inexperienced, and too risky. On top of all that, there were family tensions. Cornelia Marie Devlin, the woman the boat was named after, and Phil's former business partner, had a big stake in the vessel. and didn't always see eye to eye with the Harris brothers. Negotiations were tense. For years, Josh and Jake fought to save their father's legacy while trying to prove themselves to their crew, to the fishing community, and to millions of viewers. It seemed like they might never succeed. After Phil's death, the Cornelia Marie entered a troubled time. Derek Ray, an old friend of Phil's, stepped in as interim captain. His job was to honor Phil's wish that the boat's story continue on Deadliest Catch. But almost right away, Ray's leadership caused friction. He was strict. He clashed with the grieving brothers, especially Jake. Ray even accused Jake of using drugs on board and called the police to scare him straight. That moment stunned the crew and fans. The boat, once united under Phil, now felt divided. Morale sank. When the crab haul was poor, the crew came close to mutiny. They blamed Ray for not finding crab and for his harsh style. This period became one of the most painful and dramatic chapters in the Cornelia Marie's history. Finally, after years of struggle, Josh Harris found a way forward. He teamed up with Casey McManus, a childhood friend who had become a skilled engineer and deckhand. Together, they raised the money they needed. Josh bought 45% of the Cornelia Marie. Casey bought 5%. The remaining 50% went to two outside investors, each holding 25%. This deal gave them what they needed to overhaul the boat. They added new 750 HP Cummins engines and made other major improvements in 2015. The two men became co-captains. Josh brought heart and vision. Casey brought technical skill. They argued at times and puzzled viewers, but their teamwork kept the Cornelia Marie alive and returned it to Deadliest Catch. While Josh was rebuilding the boat and his future, Jake's life was falling apart. His addiction had already surfaced before Phil's death. Millions saw the episode where Phil confronted him for stealing painkillers. Jake admitted he was an addict. Things got worse after Phil was gone. Jake was arrested for DUI in 2010. In 2017, he was arrested again for drug possession and car theft. In 2019, he went to prison for DUI and for trying to distribute heroin. A police chase, revoked license, more prison time. It was a grim spiral. Jake became estranged from Josh and the Cornelia Marie. His story became a sad reminder of how addiction can destroy a life, even in a family known for strength and resilience. In October 2016, fans were shocked when the Cornelia Marie and Josh were missing from Season 13 of Deadliest Catch. Social media exploded with rumors. Josh posted a video to clear things up. It wasn't because of any drama on board. It was because of a decision made by the producers. They chose to focus on other boats that season. Josh shared his disappointment and assured fans that he and the crew were ready to fish. Fans were furious. Many even threatened to boycott the show until the Cornelia Marie came back. The whole thing showed just how much fans felt connected to the Harris family and their boat. The decision to leave the Cornelia Marie out that season wasn't personal. The network wanted to shake up the storylines. They felt the show needed fresh angles to keep viewers interested after so many years. But this move frustrated Josh and the crew. Their lives and reputations were tied to the show. It was a harsh reminder that in reality, TV producers control the story, no matter what happens in real life. On top of everything else, the Harris family faced terrible health crises. There was a time when more than one family member was in the ICU at the same time. In July 2024, Renee Harris had a massive heart attack. She needed a double bypass, spent a week in the ICU, and was on life support for days. Her heart stopped 4 times. Other family members dealt with strokes, brain bleeds, and other medical emergencies. The stress was crushing. They had to focus on survival instead of fishing or filming. Fans rallied around them, donating money and sending messages of support. Adding to the heartbreak was the loss of Captain Grant Harris, Josh's grandfather. After losing Phil, this second loss hit Josh hard. The pressure of living up to 2 generations of captains while facing his own battles weighed on him deeply. Josh has spoken openly about his struggles with depression and anxiety, but those same losses also fueled his determination. He wanted to honor his father and grandfather by keeping the Cornelia Marie's story going. Through it all, the crew that filmed Deadliest Catch became more than just camera operators. They became like family. They faced the same freezing winds, dangerous seas, and sleepless nights. They saw the Harris family's most private moments, the grief, the victories, the heartbreak. Sometimes they had to step back during deeply personal moments, but often they shared in the chores, the meals, and even the tensions. The return of the Cornelia Marie in Season 14 of Deadliest Catch was like a burst of energy for fans who had missed it deeply. After disappearing in 2017, the boat's absence left many viewers heartbroken. The blue and yellow hull had become a symbol of the show, tied to the memory of Captain Phil Harris. When Discovery announced its return for the 2018 season, the excitement was impossible to ignore. Social media exploded with posts, memes, and even petitions begging the network to keep the boat in the lineup. Ratings soared as viewers tuned in to see Josh Harris and Casey McManus at the helm. This wasn't just about nostalgia. Fans wanted to see if the new generation could honor Phil's legacy. The joy and relief were clear. The Cornelia Marie was part of the show's soul, and its comeback felt like getting a piece of that soul back. In 2020, the Harris story took a surprising new turn with the launch of Deadliest Catch Bloodline. This spin-off moved the action from Alaska's icy waters to Hawaii's sunny shores. It all started when Josh found 50 to 60 old fishing charts hidden in his dad's stateroom on the Cornelia Marie. 3 of these maps were for Hawaii, filled with strange notes and marked fishing spots. Josh, determined to follow his father's clues, joined forces with Casey and a local fisherman, Jeff Silva. Together, they chased after the secrets of Phil's maps. They weren't just after big fish like ahi tuna, worth as much as $2,000 each. They were uncovering a hidden part of Phil's past. Bloodline mixed fishing with a personal quest, showing fans that Phil's dreams stretched far beyond crab fishing. As the Cornelia Marie kept sailing, changes in leadership slowly became obvious. Casey McManus, who had joined as co-captain in 2014, began taking charge more and more. While Josh faced personal and legal troubles, Casey stepped up. By season 14, fans noticed Casey handling the boat's operations and making key decisions. Behind the scenes, his skills kept the Cornelia Marie running smoothly and financially stable. As Josh's role shrank, especially after his dark secrets came out, Casey's leadership became essential. Eventually, Casey moved ashore, becoming vice president of operations at a major marine company. His rise showed how much the Cornelia Marie depended on steady hands, not just a famous name. Meanwhile, Josh's life was falling apart. Fans who once cheered for him were shocked as his personal troubles grew. Relationship problems, financial messes, and erratic behavior chipped away at his image. The worst blow came in September 2022, when it became public that he had pleaded guilty years earlier to sexually assaulting a minor. Discovery acted fast. They cut all ties with Josh and removed Deadliest Catch and Bloodline from streaming platforms. Josh's reputation collapsed almost overnight, a painful example of how fame can crumble under the weight of hidden truths. The bombshell hit in August 2022, when old court documents surfaced online. Fans were stunned to learn that in 1998, Josh, then 15, had sexually assaulted a 4-year-old family friend's daughter. The case details were horrifying. The child was too young to even understand what was happening. DNA delays meant charges didn't come until the next year. In 1999, Josh pled to a lesser charge and served 9 months in jail. He also had to complete 2 years of treatment. Many felt the punishment was far too light given the crime. For more than 2 decades, this dark past stayed hidden. When the truth finally came out, fans were angry and betrayed, wondering how such a serious crime had been overlooked. Discovery moved quickly once the news broke. By September 2022, they had erased all traces of Josh and the Cornelia Marie from their shows. Bloodline was canceled. Old episodes vanished from streaming services across the US, Canada, and beyond. Even promotional posts and tweets disappeared. The network wanted no link to the scandal. Fans had mixed feelings. Some praised Discovery's swift action, while others mourned the loss of Cornelia Marie from their screens. Casey McManus, though innocent in all of this, also paid a price. When Discovery cut ties with Josh, they cut Casey too. His contract wasn't renewed, and his time on the show ended through no fault of his own. Fans felt it was unfair. Casey had always been respected, but he got caught in the storm. He has since shifted to a new career working on tugboats. The sudden end to his TV run showed how quickly fortunes can change in reality television. In 2024, Cornelia Marie started a new chapter. On June 17th, Taylor Jensen announced that he and a group of partners had bought the boat. The team included Jensen, Roger Thomas, Kari Toivola, and Jake Albinio, with Albinio taking over as captain. Fans were excited to see fresh faces ready to steer Cornelia Marie into the future. The new owners made it clear that while they honored the boat's history, their focus would be on fishing, not fame. For the first time since Phil Harris's death, Cornelia Marie was free from the shadow of the Harris family. A new era had begun, filled with hope for a future built on hard work at sea rather than drama on screen.